Optimum theory defines human intelligence as having 5 parts. Steve Wozniak, co-founder of Apple Computers, argues that making a cup of coffee is a true test of human-level intelligence. Let's look at Optimum theory's 5 components of human intelligence individually and see if we could program them into our robot to solve Wozniak's coffee problem. 1. Senses that acquire data. In 2019, we have cameras that are like eyes, microphones that are like ears, artificial noses and tongues that can detect various particles, tactile feedback systems that detect pressure and touch, devices that balance using fluid the way our ear's vestibular system does, clocks that keep time, maintenance, and recharge schedules, machine vision systems that regulate proprioception, thermo systems that detect hot and cold, registers that detect energy, fluid, and CO2 levels in a system. Even the more qualitative human senses, such as pain, pleasure, and emotion, can be theoretically reproduced through positively and negatively reinforced machine learning. Whether the robot would actually feel the way we do when it computes, say, a -1 for pain after stubbing its robot toe on a brick, and then a 1 exclamation point for the anger of the person who put the brick in the middle of the sidewalk, is something we will circle back to later. Anyway, consider this part of general intelligence theoretically solved for AI. 2. Classifying sensory data. In 2019, we have programs called neural nets that can classify sensory data. For example, data that comes from a video camera. Each sensor, be it a camera or a microphone or a tactile feedback system like a robotic hand, may keep its own database of sensory data in a library of learned categories and labels. These libraries were pre-installed in the robot. We can say they were taught to the robot through assisted learning, so that when the robot encounters visual data of, say, a coffee machine, it is able to match that data to a 3D model in its library. It is able to match the pixels of the visual data to the closest match. The robot does not need to make an exact match. In fact, it is better for the matching to be a percentage. A true AI would be capable of unassisted learning. If it encounters an object that does not suitably match any category in its library, it can give the object a name and labels based on its sensory data. Consider this part of general intelligence, classifying sensory data, theoretically solved for AI. Number 3. Imagination. This step allows us to replay our memories, our stored sensory data, and sort through our collection of classifications and labels, configuring or reconfiguring them in ways not present to our senses. In human intelligence, imagination allows us to imagine what will make us happy, and in the next part, strategize to get it. For an AI to imagine, not just randomly assemble classifications into new configurations, but genuinely imagine in the human sense, it requires its own needs and desires. We are going to circle back to that, but for the time being, consider this part of general intelligence not solved for AI. Moving on. Part 4 of human-level intelligence, strategizing. In this step, human beings are able to plot paths toward goals, needs, and desires. Although strategy can come in infinite varieties, they all have the same structure. They're about taking the present and transforming it into the desired future. And this transformation must follow the laws of physics, cause and effect, if then. And this is what we call logic. Computer programmers in 2019 might not have cracked AI imagination, but they are full steam ahead with AI strategizing using neural networks, and the way it is being done is fascinating. Do you remember earlier when I said that optimization is so fundamental that it governs everything, even human creations? Well, it even governs the process of strategizing. Neural nets strategize by refining an algorithm through trial and error, through evolution, through optimization. Strategies that make progress toward the goal live, and strategies that don't die. Positive and negative reinforcement are used to guide the AI strategizing process. The AI earns positive points by following a path of success, and negative points by straying too far off the path. Eventually, the strategy evolves into a complete algorithm that can be acted upon. Here we see how AI has learned to play and win at video games through this process of strategy optimization. For this kind of strategy optimization to work, the AI requires a partner that should on the bad strategies, while allowing better strategies through to the next generation of optimization, where the algorithm is permutated and the process repeats. This is called an adversarial network because it learns through adversary, through competition. The faster, deeper, and more productively we can simulate these branching paths, the better for our survival. And this sensation of the future being a branching tree of paths gives rise to the sensation of free will. The human experience is a partnership between the conscious and the subconscious minds. We will often say something like, "The idea just came to me as if a light bulb turned on." But what we don't see are the many simulations that our subconscious is running in the background to bring us that blueprint of information. Consider the fourth part of human level intelligence, strategizing, theoretically solved for AI. The fifth part of human level intelligence is action. As finite human beings, we are limited in how we can interact with the world through our outputs. We have access to our bodies and our voices, our most valuable assets, to manifest into the world around us. And robotics technology is rapidly improving to replicate human actions. Companies like Boston Dynamics are producing robotics technology that is nothing short of astounding. Consider the fifth part of human level intelligence, action, theoretically solved for AI. If you've been keeping track, 4 of 5 parts of human level intelligence are already theoretically solved for AI. The only part of human intelligence not publicly solved is imagination, the process of visualizing autonomous goals and objectives. AI in 2019 can only work toward goals that we give it, not goals that it generates on its own. And by understanding that, Wozniak's coffee problem breaks down and shows that perhaps AI has not advanced to the level of full human intelligence because of how we define its problems. You see, every challenge that we make to judge if an AI thinks like a human is commanded to it by a human. When we order our coffee at Starbucks, the barista does not make us coffee because we demanded it. You see, the coffee machine problem is flawed, like other tests of human-level AI, not because the robot cannot fetch coffee, but because the robot cannot tell us no.